I'm back with a little where am I at hormonally update. I guess that's what you would call it. So after getting my TFMR, I was very concerned with like, when are my hormones going to go back to normal? I can't explain how important it is. I don't know why, but it's just to feel like you're reproductively functioning again. There's like a lot of fears and stuff after you get such a dangerous procedure because it is very risky. And I also had to monitor my HCG because partial molar pregnancy, you have to monitor to make sure your HCG goes down to make sure you're not growing cancer. So I had my TFMR on February the 10th, 2024. And I didn't have much bleeding or anything afterwards. It was really bizarre, but I just knew I was going to test in about a week. So I tested with an easy at home pregnancy test February 16th, 2024. So it was 6 days after my TFMR. And I have it here, but you probably can't see it, so I will try to put it, which way? Over here. That's where it'll be. So when I tested on Friday on February 16th with an easy at home, the line was super, super faint, as you can see right here. And I also tested my blood that day, and my HCG was 31, which shocked me because that's very low. Especially when you're 22 weeks pregnant. I did not expect it to drop that low, but I was taking vitamin A, not an insane amount, but I was taking it because I heard that it helps lower HCG. And then I took another easy at home test 2 days after that, so it was February 18th, and at this point, it was completely blank, like completely, there was nothing there, if you can see it. I'm going to do another blood draw. I don't know when, probably like in a week, just to make sure it's 0. But that was very reassuring to see my HCG drop that fast. So I have the Fertility Friend app on my phone. I'm not sure if any of you guys have it. I'm just opening it up here. And as soon as I knew that the pregnancy was going to be over, I marked it as miscarriage, only because you don't, like after you have such a profound loss, you don't want reminders. You don't want to open up the app and see it like tracking the pregnancy that's no longer there. You know, it's heartbreaking. So when I put the loss into my Fertility Friend app, it gave me my green fertility days, like marked on the, on my calendar of February. And I think it marked it starting like February 21st. So I just knew I was going to test that day. And the reason why I knew I was going to test was because, or one of those days was because I wanted to see, am I ovulating? Because I just want to try to track and see if I ovulate when's predicted, and then if after I ovulate, if I bleed 2 weeks after. I mean, that's like the easiest way to be able to determine if your cycle is back to normal. So I took an ovulation test today, which is on February 23rd, and lo and behold, I got the little smiley face. You can't see it, but I'll put a little picture here. So that was very reassuring because that means, according to that I'm ovulating. So now I can expect my period in 2 weeks. And if my period doesn't come in 2 weeks, well, whatever. My cycle's not regular yet. I expect that. But if it does come in 2 weeks, I can assume that I can expect my cycle to start being regular again. So this was just basically me tracking everything from the TFMR to when I get my first cycle to my ovulations, because I just want to, in case anyone who gets this procedure done, which I don't wish this on anyone in the future, that they can kind of have a basis of what to expect. I know not everyone's the same, but I mean, if I were you, I would just try to start tracking it, like start testing your HCG, just test for ovulation. It's more comforting to have a sense of your body getting back to normal. And I know this is going to sound really weird. It's not going to sound normal, but physically, mentally, emotionally, especially physically, I do not feel back to normal. Even though this is showing me that some changes are happening, they're going in a positive direction, like my HCG dropped, I'm ovulating today, my body just feels so out of whack. Some days worse than others. Mainly like my uterus. Like my uterus is it feels the most out of whack. And I can't explain it completely, but let's just say like during my pregnancy, up to 22 weeks, I only gained, I think, like 6 pounds. And when I weighed myself recently, that's gone. Like the 6 pounds is gone, but my stomach is still swollen. It still looks pregnant, it still feels pregnant. The uterus is still big. I can't fit into my pre-pregnancy clothes. I still, if I want to wear jeans, I have to wear my pregnancy jeans or just leggings because my stomach is still like so swollen that like I can put on a pair of pants, but I can't button them because my stomach is just swollen. And sometimes it just feels real tender and sore. It's very weird and it's hard to explain. I still can't explain it. And I still deal with the highs and lows of like feeling normal to feeling really down to feeling full of anxiety. It's crazy. It's like, part of me wonders if like this is like a small minuscule taste of what postpartum like depression might feel like. I mean, I know it's nothing compared to the hormone drop, but emotionally it's horrible because of the loss, and wishing you were still pregnant, and then fears about getting pregnant again. There's so many crazy emotions that go through this time that it would take like a million videos to document how crazy it is, Like, I never had this much anxiety surrounding anything in my life, so I don't know if it's hormones. I don't know if it's PTSD. I don't know. I hope one day I can come back and explain it. But I do know that this, just simple tracking, gives me like a sense of normalcy or like control back. Like maybe my body's going back to normal. And I know normally we all hate getting our periods, but like the thought of having a regular cycle again will just give me some ease. Like it's so hard to explain. If you feel like you're in such a weird mental zone, like you were just pregnant, you just looked very pregnant, you were excited, you were like planning this future for this baby, to all of a sudden getting devastating news where your body goes basically in fight or flight mode, to not feeling anything at that moment. I'm just describing my experience, to feeling absolutely nothing and you're just numb and you're going through the motions because now you need to get this medical procedure, you need to have money for it, you need to get travel, you need to get someone to come watch your animals while you're away. You're not dealing with the grief. And then you go deal with the pain of the procedure, and then you come home feeling empty, like physically empty and emotionally empty because your baby's gone. Now you're stuck to deal with what just happened, your loss, the grieving, and your body just feeling like a complete hormonal mess. And that complete hormonal and a mental anguish, it can be easily triggered by little things. Like you might see like a pregnant woman, or like something comes up on your feed and you might feel alone because you see all these people having happy pregnancies and you just lost yours. It's like a horrible in-between time. So if you are going through something like this, I'm absolutely sorry because it's horrifying and it's so sad. But the one thing I do recommend is try to distract yourself, especially with just make a little chart, just like we do when we're tracking, when we're trying to get pregnant. Track your HCG going down. Track to see when your ovulation comes back. Mark 2 weeks later in your calendar for like, this is when I'm expecting my period. If things don't go back to normal right away, don't feel all upset and discouraged. Just give yourself something to pay attention to and like feel like you have control over your situation. That really helps me. I need distractions because I can't describe it. I just need distractions. And I've been on a lot of online forums, asking questions and talking to women, like I said, which are really great. But right now there's been so much talk with like the Alabama IVF thing, and it's connected so much with what I just went through, I feel like, with like the TFMR, that it's just like a whirlwind. So I did want to do a video talking with my husband about it because it was something before that we never really thought about. But then with going to something like this, it's almost like you can't not think about it. Like I'm constantly worrying about like other women who are going through this because I know how common it is. And I know that there's not a lot out there, like on, even when you like research, like let's say you research second trimester abortion, there's not a lot of like information that's truthful. I feel like it's hard to explain, but I like one article I saw that was like supposed to be like, scholarly article with second trimester abortion was saying that majority of them were done because people find out they're pregnant later. Like, that's bullshit. The majority of second trimester abortions are done because women are devastating that their baby's not going to survive. And I feel like the fact that that's ignored is awful, because that is the majority of reasons why this gets done. And these laws are preventing this type of person who's dealing with this tremendous loss to have to jump through loopholes to get medical care. And it just infuriates me. And then the thing with the Alabama, when they're about to go through IVF, you have all those thoughts connected to that too. So I wanted to talk to my husband about it and see his thoughts and do a little video with him. Like I said, this stuff's all very therapeutic to me because it's like a massive distraction, and it feels, I know this is going to be a long timeline from now to me having a physical baby, hopefully, with God's blessing. So this all kind of like really helps me stay focused on like a plan. It's hard. It might seem weird to some people. Some people might get it, but it's just the tracking, this getting an idea of sense of normalcy. It's one thing, you know, then move on to the next thing, and then, you know, just one day at a time. But I hope that this helps someone out there. It may. Also, I just want to say, if you did come across this video because you just had a TFMR, make sure that you're taking the right supplementation for your lining, like, you know, to get healthy again, like vitamin E, fish oil, what else is there? Turmeric, iron, take a digestive enzyme for that iron, like get your lining back in track and working well. But that's it for now. You may see me again soon because I might do a video with my husband. Also, I will post a video after my OB appointment on the 29th, and I'll post a video after our first IVF consult on March 4th. So things are like moving along. It's good. Until then, I'll see you guys later, and I hope you guys have a good one.